If you're wondering how to launch a podcast for thought leadership, I'm making this video just for you to give you a little bit of a pushback. I believe I can understand what you're hoping to accomplish. So you're somebody who has expertise, you feel purpose-driven to really help people in a major way, and you would love thought leadership positioning. And you think that a podcast is really going to help you. You've received advice or you've seen other people that have had a podcast. So whether you launch a podcast or not, that's up to you. They do have value, but I want to teach you a step-by-step path of actually becoming a thought leader that's tactical and predictable. So it's not based on luck, it's not based on going viral, but it's something that you can map out and actually achieve within just a few months. Now, podcasts have value. I'm not anti-podcast, but if your goal is thought leadership, a podcast is not the most tactical path to get there. And if you build the wrong vehicle, you slow yourself down. Podcasts feel powerful because they look authoritative. They can deliver long-form content that's interesting, that's valuable. You can interview other experts. You can probably envision a base of listeners that return each week to listen. And then within our culture, we associate podcasts with thought leaders. So it makes sense that you'd think if I launch a podcast, I'll become a thought leader. So here's the problem. Podcasts are incredibly hard for people to discover. Podcast episodes are not searchable by topic, so they usually grow through existing audiences or by cross-promotion or their social sharing, something goes viral, and especially they grow by paid traffic. So it might be a great idea for a thought leader to have a podcast, but a podcast is not what will turn you into a thought leader. So if the end goal is thought leadership, then the real question is not how do I launch a podcast? The real question is how do I become the dominant answer in my category? See, thought leadership isn't about having a show, it's about owning your category, and ownership requires discoverability. A podcast doesn't help you to be found by people searching for your expertise. It does not help you get recommended on Google or on ChatGPT. It does nothing to rank you above your competitors. So you can build a great podcast, but still be invisible to people who need you the most. That's the hidden risk. If you want to achieve thought leadership in a tactical and predictable way, you need to dominate your category. So step one is to identify the exact question your target audience is asking, and then step two is to create precise content that answers those questions. You turn no rankings into yes rankings, and I want to show you what I mean. Now take a look at this YouTube. When you type in this question, you'll see that the first full-length video is Reagan Archibald. And when you type in this question, you'll see Reagan Archibald ranked at the top. If you type in this question, there's Reagan. 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 If you type in this question, there's Reagan at the top. If you type in this question, you see Reagan dominating the entire screen. And it doesn't end. And I could keep going. There are hundreds of more questions that Reagan is dominating the top when people are searching for men's health and peptides. Now let me explain what I talked about in turning no's to yeses, because everything I just showed you is a yes, but if you look back originally, in April of 25, he had a ton of no's. Starting means you had to scroll down to find him, but yes means he was at the top. So as you go to May, to June, to July, to August, September, October, November, December, you can see gradually those no's turned into yeses. So that is what I mean by category dominance, and you can see that it's not luck. It's mapped, it's measurable, it's strategic, and it can be achieved in months, not years, when you do it correctly. Now, if you still want to launch a podcast after that, then awesome, but just don't confuse the vehicle with the destination. Thought leadership isn't the podcast, thought leadership is the dominance. So now that you know what category domination looks like, I want to show you the tactical steps that you can follow. And if you watch the next video, it's called Achieve Category Dominance. I'll show you how to map this out so you're not relying on luck, you're not relying on going viral or slow audience growth. You'll learn a predictable, step-by-step strategy for achieving dominance in your space, and I'll lay it out clearly. I'll see you there.